Hi, good morning and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 426 and I'm a couple minutes late this morning and I'm sorry about that. I got all the way down here to the beach and realized my phone was still in the car. And I've made do without a towel. I've made do without a tripod. I've made do without yarn. I've made do without stuff to talk about. But the one thing I can't make do with is the phone. Hi Grace, hi Joe, thanks for joining live. I was just explaining that I'm a couple minutes late because I got all set up here at the beach this morning and realized my phone was still in the car. Hi Naomi and Cherie and Judy and Chantal, and so the walk back, 5 minutes, whatever. Hi Shelly and Lisa and Melody and Christine and Cynthia and Lily, Judy, Lisa, Luna, Linda. Thanks for joining live, everybody. Can you see oh yeah, look at those nice waves today. We've got some beautiful waves. Hi Constance and Rose. Good morning, everybody. Hi Cherie. Oh, I've already said hi to you, sorry. All right, what day is it? What is it? Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Yes, the waves are spectacular this morning. The colors are beautiful. The waves are beautiful. Oh, it's so gorgeous. So happy to be here. So glad to share it with all of you, too. Yeah, I have my birdie shirt on. That's right. And I'm wearing it differently today. I'm wearing it with white shorts, a white tank top, and tied at my waist. So just a little something different. I think it looks nice and summery, lots of white. I love my birdie shirt too, thank you. This was one of those Marshall's finds, I think. I love that it has the epaulets on the sleeve so I can roll them up. And it doesn't need ironing, it comes out of the dryer pretty much ready to go. Thanks, Cherie. Oh, tomorrow's the first day of summer officially. Right. Gosh, it's hard to remember that down here because 3/4 of the year is summer. So, I don't really wear white shoes though, so it doesn't really, and I doubt that that's even a rule anymore. Hi Marissa. Hi Shelly from South Carolina. Thanks for joining live. So I brought a little demo this morning, and it's something you've seen me do before maybe, but if you're new, you haven't seen me do it before. But it's always a great reminder to come back around. I missed a couple comments. Sorry about that. For some reason, the screen is reflecting crazy at me today, but must be the texture of my shirt making it hard to read. Anyway, I brought a little demo to do today because I wanted to talk about what happens when you've been working out of a center pull ball and you've been working out of the center, and once the center is gone, what happens to that center pull ball or cake? It flattens on itself, right? And so the walls collapse, and it's much harder to keep your yarn from tangling when it gets to this point. So one thing that I like to do at this point is rewind the yarn. That collapse doesn't do the yarn any good, and it can often cause bird's nests and knots and all sorts of things. And so what I like to do is work from the outside and wind it into a hand-wound center pull ball. So for those of you that don't know how to do that, I'd love to show you how to wind into a center pull ball by hand. And this technique works whether you are working off of a hank. You could wind yarn from a ball or a skein or a hank, doesn't really matter. You could do this at home for all of your yarn, it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to start with is a tail. We're going to leave pretty long. I've got about, 10 inches down here, and I'm going to start wrapping the yarn around 3 fingers because the initial wraps in the center, when you're wanting to be able to pull from the center pull, you want them really loose. Otherwise, when you go to pull on this, you know what will happen, just like what happens when you try to do that on a ball that doesn't want you to pull from the center, you'll get that big bird's nest come out. So we don't want that. So in order to eliminate that bird's nest from the initial pull, we're going to start by winding really loosely in the center. And the way I do that is to wind around 3 fingers first. So I'm not counting because I'm talking, but I usually go about 50 times for that first one, 40 or 50 times. Get a nice little bulk going there, because when you've got a little bit of bulk, it's then easier to wrap around it when you start turning your ball. Okay, so that looks pretty good. You see that? So, and I'm going to do this twice today. I'm doing it once with worsted weight yarn. This is piece so worsted weight yarn, and then I'm going to do it with fingering weight yarn too, so you can see the similarities and the differences. So we're going to take this off my fingers. Pay attention to where that tail is. The tail is facing down right now. So as I twist and turn my ball, I want to make sure this always stays to the bottom. So we're going to turn it now, and I'm kind of like pulling it into my fingers in this hand, and we're going to turn it and work in the opposite direction to wrap the yarn around the loops. Good morning from Houston. Thanks for joining live. And we'll not do as many wraps as we did on the last one, and we're still going loosely at this point. So maybe we'll do half as many. We'll do 20, 25 in this direction, and then we're going to turn it so that we're working halfway between the two. But notice how I'm keeping my tail tucked into my hand here so that we're never wrapping over that tail. If you wrap over that tail, you'll lose the effect of having a center pull ball. You'll wind over it and you'll lose it. So we're going to wind in this direction now. Hi Jackie, thanks for joining live. I think I saw someone, Cece maybe joining live. I can be here. And so now we'll twist it again and just work in an opposite direction. Hi there, Carrie from Australia. Glad you could be here. So now we'll just be I'm going to work like 10 or 15 wraps and then turn it again. And I think we're doing like quarter turns, but what you want to make sure is that this tail always stays in that hand and doesn't go anywhere. Hi Jill from Michigan. Hi Robin's Nest, glad you could be here. So I'm going to go slower again so you can see that tail is still in that same direction. So the tail's always facing out that way, and we're just tilting the ball in. See, where am I going? I guess I'm going clockwise, but you could go clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not turning it this way, you want that tail to always stay in the same spot. So we're turning it in one direction, but leaving the tail in the same spot. And that's how you create a center pull ball. Hi, Amu. Get on my knee so I can get a little closer. Okay, so we wrap and turn. Note the tail is still secured over here in my pinky, in my left hand. I'm wrapping with my right, so I'm holding the ball in my left and securing the tail in my left. If you did this with your opposite hand, it would be the same thing. Just whichever hand is holding the ball is the hand that is securing the tail, and then the opposite hand is winding. Hi, Christine from New Jersey. Hi, Carol. Why would you want to keep the tail? Annette wants to know. That's a great question. It's so that we can have a center pull ball that we wind by hand. And I'll demonstrate that once I get the whole ball done. Hi Enid, thanks for joining live. You're welcome, my pleasure. For some of you, it's a reminder and a refresher. For some of you, it is maybe your first time seeing this kind of technique. I know it's just something wonderful to add to your repertoire of skills. It's not necessary for every yarn, but like I was saying before, when you've worked from a center pull ball and you've worked a lot of the yarn and the ball starts collapsing, it's really a great time to wind your yarn again. And if you prefer working from a center pull, a great alternative to rewinding it into a ball is to rewind it into a hand wound center pull ball. And we are almost done here. Yeah, you should definitely watch it from the beginning, Thea. I'm going to show it again on fingering weight yarn right now too, so you'll see the similarities and differences when you're working with worsted weight or fingering weight. So it works for any yarn. Okay, so we've got our tail now, and I'm going to show you. Look at that. I don't see a bird's nest popping out, do you? No way. We've just got this beautiful center pull ball. How great is that? Does anybody have any questions before I do it again with another ball of yarn? Yeah, this is amazing, Melody. Thanks, Enid. Thanks, Thea. I know, it's fantastic. I learned it years ago, and every now and then, maybe once a year, I think, I do the demo again here on the podcast, and it's amazing that so many people still haven't seen it, so I'm so glad to share that. All right, so we're going to do it with, this was number 4 worsted weight so tender yarn, which is my thick and thin organic cotton that is super soft and yummy. This is colorway Cobalt, so beautiful. And the other sample I'm going to use is Beast Lush, which is my number 1 fingering weight blended yarn of organic cotton and bamboo. And you can see again, we have a ball that we've worked out of the center from, and now the sides are starting to collapse on themselves. And this is a great time to rewind your balls so that you don't have that collapse situation. When you're pulling yarn out of collapsed walls, sometimes it creates knots and bird's nests and all that jazz. So one of the things that I like to do is when it gets to this point, I like to rewind my yarn, and I prefer center pull to a ball that just rolls around on the floor. So the way to do that is to hand wind into a center pull ball. Luna, it depends on the yarn. There's all sorts of things. You can pull from the center, and sometimes it causes knots, and sometimes it works beautifully. There's, you know, you're talking about miles and miles of string. I mean, it has the ability to tangle, right? The key is knowing what to do when yarn tangles, not stressing out, not pulling really hard, and just knowing how to gently manipulate it and get it back into shape. But this is a way to keep those collapsed walls, to eliminate the collapsed wall situation. So we're going to take our tail here, and I'm going to get the tail to about 10 inches or so and wrap the yarn around 3 fingers. Hey, Jerry. Not everybody does have a problem with it. It's just something that happens to some people sometimes. And this is one of the ways to eliminate it. Or it's just a fun thing to do. Yeah, the key is to not get to try to not get tense and stressed out. And if you feel that way, you more than likely should step away from the situation and come back to it. Because if you're too stressed out when you're trying to do something that requires a lot of patience, it's not going to go successfully. That's just facts. All right, so the first one I usually wind about 50 times around 3 fingers, and the reason why I do it from the 3 fingers is to make sure that the center is nice and loose. If the center is nice and loose, when you begin to pull that center pull out, you won't get that bird nest clump of yarn. You want to make sure it's nice and loose, and the way that I do that is by wrapping around 3 fingers at first, and I do about 50 wraps so that I have, you know, a little bit of meat to wrap on, so that I have a chunk to wrap on when I turn the work. So it's like we're pretty close. I didn't count, obviously. So I'm going to pull my fingers out. I'm going to secure that tail in the hand that I'm going to hold the yarn with. And I'm going to hold the yarn in the opposite direction. Hi, Rasha from Egypt. And I'm going to wrap in the opposite direction now about half as many times. So if I did 50, I'll probably do 25 going in this direction. And in the beginning here, we're still going to work really loosely. Okay, so now we've got 2 wraps. Our tail is secured with my pinky in the hand that I'm wrapping with. And I'm going to turn it halfway between those 2 wraps and wrap in another direction. So I'm just turning the ball in one direction. Because it is a ball or, a sphere, you could obviously turn it in a bunch of directions, but the key to this is making sure the bottom where the tail is always stays in the same direction. So we're only going to turn this way, not this way. If we turn this way, we'd end up hiding the tail and then we'd lose the effect of having the center pull. So we're going to only turn in this direction. And I think I do quarter turns. Okay, so I've wrapped a bit, and then I'm going to do a quarter turn and wrap a little more. And then just keep repeating this until we run out of yarn. Hi, Fulvia, Stefania. Hello, thanks for joining live. Okay, and then we'll twist a little more and wrap again. But notice I'm securing that tail in my pinky to make sure it does not get in the way. Because if I cover it, then I've wasted all my time. Not really. Yeah, I still have a ball, but it's the kind of ball that will roll all over the floor or roll all over other balls in my bag, and I don't want that. This is Be So Lush yarn in colorway Living Coral. You can find it on my website. Oopsie. All right, so I dropped it. So now it's important to pay attention to which side is which. Here's my tail. I'm going to pick it with my pinky again, pick it back up, and start all over. Okay, so I've got my tail hooked in my pinky, wrapping around the ball. I think I go about 10 times or so, 10, 15 times before I twist. And then I'm going to do a quarter twist. Only twisting this direction away from me, only twisting in one direction so that that tail stays hooked in the hand that's holding the yarn. Cherie wants to know how my workouts are going. Fabulous. So I joined a gym on Sunday, and I've been to the gym every day since. I've done a minimum of 1 hour of cardio Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I've done 40 minutes of free weights every other day. And when I joined the gym, I did get one free fitness, what would you call it? Fitness consultation in class. So the fitness director made the appointment with me, and he's been out of town for a family emergency, so I'll get to meet with him tomorrow night. And he says he's got some great routines set up for me, so I'll have, some extra help in figuring out what to do in the gym in weights, because I haven't done weights in a really long time. So he's going to give me some routines to focus on core and lower body. So I'm really excited to see what he has to say. And I'm pretty confident in knowing what to do for upper body. So that will be really wonderful. And then cardio is easy. They've got so many different kinds of machines there and great classes. Last night I did a 1 hour Zumba class that kicked my booty. That was really hard, only because I'm out of shape. And today is just cardio day, but there's a yoga class at the gym tonight, so I think I might do that instead, just to change it up, do something different. I like doing different things every day to keep it fun. So on my cardio days when I'm just in the gym, not in a class, I do 30 minutes on the stair climber and 30 minutes running on a treadmill. Yeah, yoga's going to be great. And it'll be a nice change. I think the key to staying fresh in the gym is always changing things up. Yeah, it is great, Cherie. It's going to be exciting to see results. I have not. I think I'm gonna try to check results weekly. I did take before photos last Sunday when I joined the gym. So I think every Sunday I'll probably do progress photos. And then once I have results, it'll be fun to compare them. But I don't see any results yet, but and I don't feel the energy that you're supposed to feel from it, but I think that's just because I've had so much stress and change in my life this week, and adding this at this time has probably helped with my stress, but it has definitely drained my energy, but it'll come back soon. I believe in it. So, all right, finished winding the ball, so I want to do the demo now. Yeah, it's coming. It's going to come, Naomi. I'm convinced of it. Yeah, Zumba was really fun last night. I just felt like I looked like an idiot because it was my first time and I did not know the routine and everyone else did. So I'll probably have to go next Wednesday night too. Okay, so we've got the center pole ball. So I'm going to show you now how it works. Look at that. And because I wound so loosely in the center, it's not pulling out that bird nest. It's just pulling out nice and loose. So there we go. Isn't that great? Oh, Cherie shared her routine. I missed it. Yep, everyone has a first time at everything. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. That's why I'm not worried about looking like an idiot last night, because I can only be a new person at Zumba the first time. That's it. I've had a hard time even walking into the gym this week because I feel like I don't have the cutest workout clothes. I'm certainly not in shape like a lot of the super fit girls in the gym, so I've definitely felt insecure, and it's only because I haven't been there in a long time, and I know I'm out of shape, and I don't really remember what to do. So I think after I get back into the routine and meet with the consultation tomorrow and just keep at it, I will stop feeling so out of place. Yeah, it all comes in time. That's right, Lisa. It all comes in time. Yeah, just walking is a big deal too. I love going for my walks here on the beach. Yeah, so yesterday I did an hour and a half cardio then. No, I did more than an hour and a half. So I did 30 minutes here. I did a 15-minute run before Zumba, so a 30, 45. I did an hour and 45 minutes of cardio yesterday. Well, I ought to see results sooner than later then. That's all I can say. I know the scenery is amazing today. If you're just joining now, please go back and watch the beginning of the podcast so you can see how to wind center pull balls by hand. These are hand wound balls that have the center pull so that it doesn't roll around on the floor when you work from it. It'll sit still and you can pull from the center, but they're hand wound. So it's a great tutorial. I showed it on worsted weight yarn and on fingering weight yarn. So if you want to go back and watch that, it's really a wonderful tool to have for your knitting and crochet. Not sure how much I'm going to see now. Anyway, we're coming to the end. So let's see if someone wants to pick a Create, Share, Inspire notebook volume or issue. Pick a number between 1 and 5 and I'll randomly pick a quote. What have we got? Cherie says 2 today. You are fast on the button. All right, here's volume 1, issue 2. You can find all of these on my website as well as on Amazon in all the markets all over the world in both English and Spanish. And now let's randomly pick a quote. I just read that one recently. Ooh, I like this. This is Confucius. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of being you. Man, I love this one. You know, we are such complex people, right? We have so many layers. Like Donkey said in Shrek, so many layers like an onion, right? We have lots of interests. We have lots of passions and beliefs. And sometimes we get lost along the way because we get so busy. And I think it's really helpful to, you know, quiet your mind, whether it's through meditation or whatever works for you to quiet your mind. But when you can quiet your mind, sometimes you can figure out what it is that really is you. What is the essence of you in the center? Is it the things you believed when you were 7 years old and you've forgotten about? Is it the things that you've forgotten because you got busy or because you take care of other people now, or you juggle so many different multitasking things throughout the day? If you can quiet your mind and your heart and be still and think about it, it's really, really wonderful to figure out what is really you in the center of your being, because that's where you'll really figure out what brings you joy. Let's read this again. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being. This is tough. Sometimes and the more you want to figure it out and the more you try to figure it out, and it's like trying to watch water boil. It doesn't work that way. You have to quiet your mind and try to relax and be calm, and that's when the things will come to you. But finding out what's really you at the center of you is part of how to find really your happiness, and such good stuff. I want to tell you more, but there's something I'll tell you in the near future that this reminds me of. But it's a new way of restructuring how I share information, and that's what this reminds me of today. So I'll tell you about that on another day, but this was a very timely quote for me, and I just want you to know that how I learn to figure out what makes me happy, because I've had so much change in my life in the last couple of months, and now in the last couple of years, couple of months, and certainly in the last couple of days, it's forcing me to say, wait a second, I've got choices now. What am I going to do? What makes me happy? And the way that I've been navigating through that is through meditation and through exercise too. That's another way to quiet your mind when you make your being out in nature, going for walks, all of that stuff helps me to quiet my mind. So let's read the quote, Lord. I want you to be everything that's you, deep at the center of your being, by Confucius. Really wonderful stuff. Takes a while to get there, but so worth the effort to figure out what's you in the center of your being. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me. I hope you enjoyed our demo today. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful scenery. I hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and